Hello, fabulous Sagittarius. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of April 2015 General Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This month, we have got an eclipse taking place in the early part of the month. This really is the game-changing moment, the game-changing time, if you will, for all of us. Now, those people out there born around the 4th or 5th of the month, whatever their sign, if you're born around the 4th or 5th of your month, or within 3 days of that on either side, you're going to feel this eclipse more than others, but everyone out there should be noticing a shift taking place and things changing in ways that are surprising, in ways that are, there's a sense that, okay, finally the truth is out. Finally we can get clear. Finally we can, stop sweeping things under the rug and just lay all our cards on the table and decide how we're going to go forward from here. So there's a sense of relief along with a sense of surprise, a sense of even some people out there, I think, are going to be a little bit in disbelief as well. A lot of these understandings, if you will, are going to be facilitated by our one-on-one interactions with other people. And I do think that for a lot of us out there, we are going to notice a notable closure that opens up blessings. This eclipse is speaking with Uranus and with Pluto. That adds to the change, the surprise, the truth. Speaking with Mercury, which speaks to other people and conversations, instigating or initiating these realizations, and with Jupiter in harmony as well once we get to sort of one of the last conversations, if you will, that this eclipse has, which says after all that, we get to a place of absolute inspiration and possibility and excitement about what we can do now and the direction in which we're heading. For you, the part of the sky that's really lit up by this eclipse early in the month is the part of the sky that has to do with friendship, our friends, our alliances, sort of groups that you belong to as well. And I think that you will be seeing people very differently thanks to this eclipse. Those of you who have sort of been hanging on, I know sometimes like we get used to sort of a social element of a group that we might belong to. And if you've been sort of hanging on, haven't really been feeling a connection for a while, haven't really been certain about, your place within this group, it will be clarified. Without a doubt, things will be very clear to you. And without a doubt, you will come to recognize and come to be really honest with yourself as to the purpose of your place and the place that this group has had for you in the past and what has changed now. So chances are your alliances are going to be changing. How you understand your memberships, even, if you will, to whatever it is, whether they're professional or personal groups, is going to be changing as well. But of course, as I said, friends. And this is a friend, really sort of everything coming out with a friend. Again, as I said, laying cards on the table. So where it is that maybe you haven't been honest with a friend, because the truth goes both ways. If you haven't been honest with a friend about something you should be honest about, and somewhere inside you know that you haven't been completely forthright, this is going to be your chance to do that. And it's likely to come out in a very spontaneous way. Those of you who it is the other person who hasn't been completely forthright with you, whether or not you've been feeling it coming, this is going to be that moment. This is where everything gets laid on the table, cards on the table moment for you as well. And this needs to happen. It's almost as if this is a long time coming. As I said, you probably have felt this coming if you're really honest with yourself, but maybe not, because this is Uranus. Uranus likes to do things kind of out of the blue. But this is a moment that needs to happen if this friendship is going to move forward in a way that's a lot more honest. Now, I got to say, for some Sagittarius out there, I do think that it is very possible that you will come to see that a friendship has served its purpose for you. So maybe this friend represents another time of your life, another area of your life. Maybe you're changing in ways, in new ways, especially considering that Saturn has newly been in your sign. Saturn now, as we start this month, is retrograde. So to me, this suggests that you are going through changes, you are growing up, and where it is that friendships can't keep up with your growth, you are going to be a lot more honest about that with yourself as well. You're going to be a lot more honest in a lot more ways about what it is and why it is that you're hanging on to this particular alliance. This is a full moon eclipse. So that tends to bring things to culmination, to fruition, and to closure at that. If you've been in any kind of sort of business arrangement with a friend, this is also going to bring things sort of out into the open. Like, okay, what are the two of you actually doing? Do you want to keep doing this? Because this full moon eclipse is speaking with the ruling planet of your opposite sign of partnership. I'll talk more about that in the love-focused horoscope, but that does suggest changes taking place on a level of the people that you are aligned with as well. Now, as I said, you also have Saturn beginning to go retrograde in your sign. And so when a planet goes retrograde, that energy turns inward. That energy becomes more reflective. That energy becomes more of a contemplation as to your part and what personal change needs to happen in order to unlock the best that this planet promises, because every planet promises a higher aspect, if you will. Saturn, the promise of Saturn is if you do the work, you will manifest what you want. If you're real with yourself, if you're honest with yourself, if you put in the time, you will get back. I recently heard a statement in an interview of, actually, I saw a masterclass with Justin Timberlake, and he said if you give 125%, I think he said, you get back 90%. You might get back 90%. That's Saturn. That's very Saturnian. I should look at his chart, but that is so Saturnian to say that if you put in a certain amount, you will get something back. And if you're lucky, you'll get even a little bit more. You might get enough back that somewhat matches or balances out the effort you put in. And this is good because ultimately Saturn is about achieving something, manifesting something that you can be proud of. And usually we are proudest of the things that we dedicate ourselves to, that we work towards, that we give our energy to in a more wholehearted kind of way. And so this is the promise of Saturn. Right now, Saturn going retrograde. The big question for you is, what is it that I truly want to live? What is it I truly want to manifest? What is adulthood going to mean for me? What does it mean to be a grown-up? And am I up for it? What needs to adjust within me as to how I am interpreting what it means to be grown? Okay, so these are the types of questions that I'm actually seeing coming up for you in important ways, and these questions ultimately are a friendship, and the changes and evolution in a friendship are going to be part of you finding the right answers for you. Remember, a little bit further down the road, once we get into the summer, we are going to have Saturn retrograde out of your sign and spend the summer out of your sign before entering back in for a nice long stay right to the end of 2017. And so this suggests to me that this is a breather moment that you need. This is a moment that you need to understand how it is that what's been happening within you has led to what you are living in your life on every level, and taking ownership for that. So the process begins now. Once we get a little bit later in the month, the energy does change, as all things change. Everything changes. Nothing that's tough lasts forever. Great opportunities are always going to come, always. They go, but they also come continuously. The universe is not limited. Opportunity always knocks repeatedly, especially if it's something that you are meant to do. And so there will be change. And in the second part of the month, we have a new moon taking place. This particular new moon is a very romantic one. So I'll talk about that in the love-focused horoscope again. But where it comes to a general focused horoscope, this particular new moon to me says that there's an element here of creativity, of joy, of you tapping into something that feels more like a passion. So after spending time having to deal with another person, after spending time having to, sort of think, okay, what is it that is just frivolous, and what is it that I can actually do to move my life forward? You start to get a clearer understanding that actually there's a bridge between those two worlds. There's a way for you to find a sense of joy, a sense of fulfillment, a sense of creative fulfillment at that, something that lights you up, if you will, right? A sense of passion for what you're doing and how you're living. There's a way to do that and still utilize that to move your life in a stable and solid direction that you can be proud of. It isn't that you sort of have to let go of one in order to embrace the other. You sort of have to forget your responsibilities in order to truly enjoy yourself. But there's a way to enjoy yourself and embrace your responsibilities to integrate them. There's also an element with this particular new moon that has to do with children as well. Okay, so as part of creativity and creations, has to do with children. So if you have children, this is likely going to be a time when they're asking for a lot of your energy, but it looks to be going in a good direction, a really good direction at that. There seems to be an element of inspiration playing out here, of home being this almost magical place for some of you out there as well. Also, I do think that with children, if you want to have children, this is some real fertile energy. And so if you want to have children, the universe can set that up for you with just a little bit of intent. You know, new moons, new beginnings. People say, and it's often recommended that at a new moon you make a wish, because new moons are about planting a seed, and wishes are seeds. And no matter what you do, whether small, whether symbolic, utilize a new moon energy and it will reach fruition at a later date. Usually 6 months down the road is sort of the full fruition moment, but sometimes the fruition time can be shorter or longer. And what we have happening here is a new moon happening in a part of the sky that's very fertile. If you want to have children, you've got a great moment set up for you to actually move yourself in that direction of actualizing that experience for yourself. If you don't want children, you can direct this energy in other ways so that instead it is manifesting in ways that have more to do with personal, creative fulfillment and the projects that you are now wanting to nurture in hopes of giving birth to them as well. This month is a month of change for all of us. For you, you are going to notice your alliances, your relationships going through changes. But this is good. And in many ways, this is going to be long overdue. This is the truth coming out, and you are ready for it. And as it comes forward, you are going to come to understand yourself and in relation to other people differently. And with this new understanding, you're going to see just how much you have changed, how much you have grown, and come to a deepening appreciation for the goals that you have for your life, and a deepening appreciation for just how powerful you are and how you truly can manifest those things that you most desire.